Why do some people feel they must save you even if you never asked? Why do they call it kindness when it feels like control? After I posted a video called "Why Japan Rejected Christianity," I received a wave of intense comments. Not just disagreements, but warnings, threats, even pity. You are lost. You must be saved. Only Christ can help you. They weren't debating. They were declaring. As a Japanese person, this honestly felt terrifying and totally foreign. Because in Japan, we don't think people need to be saved in the first place. That difference made me realize something. This isn't just about religion. It's about how we treat others, how we handle belief, and how different cultures understand morality itself. So before we begin, please don't react emotionally or hysterically. Take a breath, stay calm, and try to understand the cultural perspective behind what I'm about to say. Even if you disagree, I hope you'll listen until the end and reflect. Let's begin with a simple question. Why does being saved sound more like a threat than a gift in Japan? Section 1. Why Japan never wanted salvation, a moral code without God. Why didn't Japan ever ask to be saved? That question is confusing only to those raised in cultures where morality is tied to religion. In Japan, the idea that someone is lost unless they follow a specific God just doesn't make sense. We've lived for centuries without a single dominant deity. And yet, we created a society built on order, kindness, and mutual respect. There was no Bible, no commandments from above. But still, we learned to line up, bow in thanks, and return. Lost wallets without hesitation. Not because a God demanded it, but because we believed it was the right thing to do. In fact, many Japanese would find the concept of salvation to be a little offensive. It assumes we're broken, that something is wrong with us, simply because we don't follow your God. And that's the key cultural divide. In many Western religions, faith equals morality. But in Japan, morality comes from empathy, from harmony, from the belief that hurting others is wrong not because it's a sin, but because it causes pain. So maybe we never wanted salvation, because we never thought we were lost. Section 2. Why religion should be quiet, the Japanese way of belief. In Japan, religion is not something you shout about. It's something you quietly carry inside. No preaching on the streets. No knocking on doors to save someone. No declaring that your way is the only truth. In fact, doing that would be considered incredibly rude. To many Japanese, faith is like underwear. You wear it because it matters to you, but you don't show it off to strangers. And you definitely don't force others to wear the same kind. This isn't about being anti-religion. Shinto shrines are everywhere. So are Buddhist temples. People pray on New Year's, tie fortunes to sacred trees, and light incense for their ancestors. But there's a difference. It's personal, not persuasive, not political. Religion, in the Japanese view, is not a debate. It's not a mission. It's a quiet ritual that connects you to your past, your family, or your values. That's why when someone loudly insists, "You must believe this or you'll be lost," it doesn't sound loving. It sounds intrusive. In a society that values harmony over truth, pushing your truth on others breaks the very balance we try to keep. So yes, believe what you want. Just don't turn belief into a weapon. Section 3. Why faith feels like violence, the culture clash of saving. Have you ever met someone who insisted on saving you, even though you didn't ask to be saved? To them, it feels like love. To you, it feels like pressure. This is the silent collision between Western style evangelism and Japanese culture. In Christianity, the idea of saving others is central. Not just believing privately, but spreading that belief to everyone around you. It's seen as kindness, a duty, an act of love. But to many Japanese people, it feels like this: "You are wrong. You are lost. You need what I have." That doesn't feel like love. It feels like judgment, like cultural superiority wearing a kind smile. In Japan, helping someone means waiting until they ask. It means not intruding on their space. Even kindness is supposed to be quiet, discreet, respectful. So when a person says, I'm just trying to help you by sharing my faith. A Japanese listener might hear, I don't respect your way of life. I think I know better than you. I'm here to fix you. It's not the words that hurt. It's the assumption behind them. That one culture has the right to rewrite another. And that's why, no matter how kind the tone, this kind of faith feels like a form of cultural violence. Section 4: Shinto, Buddhism, and the Art of Coexistence. How Japan lives without one truth. In Japan, there is no single religious truth. There's no heaven or hell ultimatum. No demand to choose one God, one path, one book. Instead, there's harmony, blending, layering of beliefs. At a Japanese shrine, you might pray to a Shinto deity for luck. At a funeral, you'll hear Buddhist chants for the dead. And at Christmas, you might enjoy cake and lights without ever thinking about Jesus. No contradiction, no confusion, just coexistence. This is the essence of Japanese spirituality. Not loyalty to one faith, but quiet respect for many. Shinto teaches that gods are everywhere. In trees, in rivers, in stones, in people. It's not about belief. It's about feeling, being, living in connection with nature. Buddhism adds the idea of impermanence. That suffering comes from attachment, and peace comes from letting go. Together, these traditions don't clash. They flow. So when someone from a monotheistic religion says, there is only one truth, it doesn't just sound foreign to Japanese ears. It sounds disruptive, not because it's wrong, but because it refuses to coexist. In Japan, faith is not a competition. It's not about being right. It's about living in peace. Section 5: The Silent Morality of Japan. Why we don't need religion to be good. In the West, morality is often taught through religion. Don't steal. Love thy neighbor. God is watching. But in Japan, most people live moral lives without any reference to God at all. No commandments. No weekly sermons. No fear of eternal punishment. Yet Japan remains one of the safest, most orderly societies in the world. Why? Because Japanese morality is not shouted. It's shown. Not enforced from above, but lived from within. From a young age, Japanese children are taught to think about others. Will this trouble someone? Will this make someone uncomfortable? It's not about sin. It's about shame. It's not about heaven. It's about harmony. And harmony comes from empathy. This is why people return lost wallets. Why students clean their own classrooms. Why even in disaster zones, people line up calmly. Not because they fear divine punishment, but because they don't want to cause trouble. Religion says do good, or else. Japan says do good, because someone else matters. It's quiet, it's invisible, and it works. So when someone asks, how can Japanese people be so moral without religion? The answer is simple. Because in Japan, being kind is the religion. Section 6: Why being saved sounds strange to Japanese ears. The cultural shock of evangelism. Have you been saved? To a Western Christian, this is a question of love and concern. But to most Japanese people it sounds awkward, even offensive. Saved? From what? From sin? From hell? But if you don't even believe in original sin or eternal damnation, the whole question sounds like a fantasy. In Japan, life isn't seen as a fallen state. You're not born broken. You're born part of a larger harmony. And your goal is to fit in, not be redeemed. So when someone says you need saving, it sounds like you are lost. You are wrong. You are incomplete. Even if it's said kindly, it feels like judgment. This is why Christian evangelism often falls flat in Japan. It's not about rejecting kindness. It's about rejecting the assumption that something is wrong. Imagine if someone told you, I'll save you from your culture. Wouldn't that feel strange? In Japan, virtue isn't something given by a god. It's something you live through every small act. So here's the real cultural question. Do people need to be saved if they were never lost in the first place? Section 7: Faith or Pressure? Why pushing belief backfires in Japan. In the West, sharing your faith is seen as a virtue. To keep it private might even feel like hiding something important. So spreading the gospel becomes a kind of moral duty. If you really care about someone, you'll want to save them too. But in Japan, this logic collapses. Why? Because in Japanese culture, forcing belief even with good intentions is not seen as passion. It's seen as pressure. And pressure, especially emotional or ideological pressure, is something polite society avoids. This is the country where people apologize before offering advice, where even compliments are given with humility. So imagine what it feels like when someone insists, "Believe what I believe, or you're lost." It doesn't matter if it comes from kindness. It still feels like a violation of social harmony. In Japan, belief is deeply personal. You don't parade it, you don't push it, and you definitely don't assume your truth should be someone else's. That's why many Japanese feel uncomfortable when approached by missionaries. Not because they hate religion, but because they hate the assumption that they need fixing. So here's a simple question for all believers. Is your faith stronger when it's shared or when it's respected in silence? Section 8 Morality without God. What guides the Japanese heart? In many Western religions, morality comes from God. What's right or wrong is determined by divine command. Without God, they say, there is no foundation for ethics. But in Japan, morality has never needed a God. The Japanese sense of right and wrong isn't taught through scripture. It's felt through relationships. You learn kindness not because a God told you to, but because you live in a society where others matter. In Shinto, there are no commandments. There is no heaven or hell, no ultimate punishment, no divine reward. Instead, there is harmony, respect, and the quiet understanding that your actions ripple out, affecting family, co-workers, even strangers. This is what shapes Japanese behavior. Not will I be saved, but will I shame my parents? Will I disturb the peace? Will I cause someone else pain? It's a morality based on empathy and accountability, not fear of divine judgment. To some, this may seem weak. To others, it's a higher form of ethics, one rooted in responsibility, not obedience. So the question becomes, is true morality about fearing God, or is it about understanding each other? Section 9 No religion doesn't mean no values. What being non-religious means in Japan. In many Western countries, when someone says, "I have no religion," it often implies a lack of faith, a loss of meaning, or even moral confusion. But in Japan, saying you're non-religious doesn't mean you have no beliefs. It means you don't need to put a label on them. Japanese people live deeply spiritual lives without ever joining a religion. They visit shrines at New Year's, pray at temples during exams, hold funerals with Buddhist rites, and still celebrate Christmas for fun. To outsiders, it may seem inconsistent. To the Japanese, it's harmony. You see, religion in Japan is not about dogma. It's about custom, not about loyalty to one truth, but flowing naturally with the seasons, the community, the moment. It's not that they believe in nothing. It's that they don't need to declare belief in one thing. There is a deep trust in the unspoken, a comfort in mystery, a respect for things unseen. In the West, religion is often identity. In Japan, it is atmosphere. Subtle, quiet, everywhere and nowhere. So when a Japanese person says, "I'm not religious," they're not rejecting faith. They're simply living it without naming it. Section 10 So please don't try to save us a message to those who mean well. To those who truly believe in their faith, we understand your intentions. You want to help. You think you're offering light, hope, salvation. But to many Japanese people, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like pressure. It feels like being told, "You're wrong. You're lost. You need saving." But saving from what? From not believing in your God? From not following your rituals? From not declaring faith in a story we didn't grow up with? We don't feel lost. We feel peace. And if our peace doesn't look like yours, does that mean it's not real? Japanese culture teaches us to live for others, to find meaning in kindness, responsibility, and harmony, not in declaring allegiance to a divine figure, but in silently doing what is right. So when someone says, "You need Jesus," it doesn't sound like love. It sounds like judgment. It's not that we hate religion. It's that we don't need saving. We value belief quiet, personal, and spoken. And we respect yours, as long as you respect ours. So please, don't try to save us. Try to understand us, because maybe we're already okay. Cultural habits like this may seem small, but they reflect big ideas. How does your culture compare? Let's share and learn from each other. Leave a comment if you'd like. And please like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.